Point of View is powered by Airtel Tigo. Airtel Tigo. Life is simple.
Welcome back to your election bureau. This is Citi TV. My name is Avle, and as the elections have come out with their results, we want to break down for you what's been happening since the results were announced. So today I'm here with my Bono Ahafo expert. We call him the Bono East and Ahafo expert, Kojo Ajiman. Kojo, welcome. Great to have you.
Great to have you, Bernard.
Great. So Kojo was in Sunyai covering those three regions for us during the elections, and today we just want to tell you what happened in those three important regions. So it's going to be rapid fire presentation on the dashboard. Kojo, good to have you on the dashboard.
Thank you, Bernard.
So here is first what we have. We have a parliamentary regional breakdown. And if you look at Ahafo, which is the first region, MPP has 4, NDC has 2. You come to Bono, it's 6-6. And then you come to Bono, it's 3-7. Anything here that surprises you with the breakdown of parliamentary seats? It looks like the green is more here, the blue is more there, and this is 50-50. Is that always how the region has behaved?
No. For instance, when you take the Bono region, for instance, 2016, the NPP had more seats, about 9 seats from there.
Okay.
But this time, the NDC has been able to sort of split the region with the NPP. So if you look at it, out of the 12 seats, NDC has 6, NPP has 6. Ahafo, they maintain the stand. So NPP previously had 4 seats, and now it has 2 seats. When you come to the Bono East, the NPP made some inroads there. So you talk about Pro West. It took the seat Techiman South and the Kintampo South as well.
Okay, so you're saying that Bono typically, this line is longer.
Yes.
It's only in 2020 that this line has become a bit long.
A bit long.
In Bono East, this line is usually longer.
Yes.
And this guy is very short, but he's made a couple of gains here.
Couple of gains.
What about Ahafo?
Ahafo has always maintained the 4-2 balance.
Okay.
So places like Tano South, Tano North, Esnafo North, Esutifi North, they always would like to go with the NPP. Okay. But then Esutifi South and then Esnafo South. Okay. That's Collins.
So the two Tanos go MPP usually.
Usually.
And then the Esutifi Esnafo North go MPP.
MPP.
But the Esnafo Esutifi South,
they've been rotating.
Yes, so that's where NDC gets some joy. So that's interesting. So we're going to give you a quick summary of the 3 regions for parliamentary. So we'll put that on the screen shortly for you, where we'll tell you what Bono has been doing. 6-6 for the 2 parties. Then Ahafo 4-2 for MPP. And then Bono East 7-3 with Cine West still to be determined.
Yes.
Very interesting, because I didn't even know Cine West was that competitive. I thought that Pro East, Pro West, Cine West were pure NDC seats.
They were pure NDC, but then when you look at Pro West, the NPP this time presented someone who is a settler there, who is also the DCE, and a lawyer by profession. And well, the people are saying he's done a lot and he's one of our own. So they decided to go with the parliamentary for him, but the presidential, they stuck with the NDC.
So when it comes to parliamentary in some of these places, where the person is from is important in determining the votes.
It's very important. It's very important. So for example, seats like Atebu Buamanting, we saw that Sanja Nanja has made a comeback. He's a settler. The other time, the MPP presented Kofi Amakohene, who is the Bono East Regional Minister. But then Sanja Nanja came. Kofi Amakohene is not, he's an indigene, he's not a settler. The settler communities are the biggest in these areas. So your type of candidate and ethnic background will also win you some vote or will make you lose. So you saw that Sanja Nanja made a good comeback because of his ethnic background. When you look at the Pro West, where the MPP took the seat from the NDC, the lawyer, the DCE, the lawyer who is also the DCE, is also a settler. He's a settler in the area. So they decided to stick with one of their own. That's how come they've been able to capture that seat from the NDC.
Let's talk about the historical performance of the 2 regions and of the 2 parties in the 2 regions. So here I have Ahafo region, starting from 96 to 2020. So it looks like from 96, NDC won that region on the presidential. Then it switched in 2000, and it's remained so ever since. But let's go back a bit. So I want you to explain what's happening with this? Because this is, just go back a bit. So in 2000, this is the first time NPP won the region, and it's 40-56, a 15-point gap. Then in 2004, NPP stretches their lead. NDC does a bit better, still 15-point gap. Now 2008, when Mills comes to power, NPP shrinks and NDC goes up. So it's now 10%.
10%,
So 15% has come back to 10%. Now 2012, it's dead heat.
It's coming up.
Can you explain this to me?
Well, so each area with its specific problem and how both political parties or how the administrations tackle them. So you saw that during Mills's time, the NDC numbers were going up a little bit.
Yes.
Mills at the time sought to tackle the schools under trees, the cocoa growing areas. He made sure that he provided fertilizers for them and all that. And then at the time to Kufuor's provision of the model schools, that had come up. So if you go to areas like Bechem, if you go to areas like Goso, he built model schools there trying to open up education. But
so this is what will happen here, 2004.
2004.
Which accounts for this line. Okay.
So, but then when Mills came in 2008, you saw that he sought to, tackle agriculture, especially in the Ahafo areas.
Which is why NDC is going up here.
Went up there.
Good. So because Mills, of course, his tenure started in 2008. But the reward will come here.
Yeah.
Good. Why did it start opening up again in 2016? Because this is very close. Okay. From a 15-point game, it's almost 50-50 in 2012. So this is the height of Mills and his achievement.
Yes.
Now, Mahama has done 4 years. Mahama's wife is from one of the 3 regions.
Yeah, he's from the Bono East. She's from the Bono East.
But this is Ahafo.
Ahafo.
What's going on here?
Well, if you look at the Ahafo area, so for
so
example,
is it that they didn't like the first 4 years of Mahama and therefore MPP went back up and NDC came back down? Because this is almost like the 2004 levels, or at least the 2008 levels. What's going on?
Well, Bernard, if you look at the Ahafo area, any political party that wants to win the region should take their cocoa, their timber, and the roads serious.
Cocoa timber roads?
Yes.
Cocoa timber roads.
That's a cause.
Okay.
Areas like Citi North, Esnafo South, these areas, you have thousands of cocoa hectares farms there.
Okay.
So if you come and you're not able to tackle their cocoa issues very well,
they will deal with you. You're talking places like Goso,
Emem, Kukum area.
Okay.
Yes, Azerbaijan, Pressure number 2.
Okay.
These areas. If you don't take their cocoa business serious, it means that you're going to.
It's very interesting you say this because I remember there was a video in the heat of the election of Eric Opoku, spokesperson on cocoa affairs.
Yes, for the NDC.
Talking to them about what Mahama had done for their cocoa and essentially saying the free fertilizer that Mahama started had been cancelled. Now, is it any surprise that this is just like a continuation of the 2016 story? NDC didn't make any more gains. So it's 15-point game here. And it's been literally the same. Any explanation for this?
Well, so if you look at the Ahafo again, this time the issues had increased. So places like Tano South and Tano North, the MPP introduced the 1D1F. It goes to set up a ceramic factory in Tano North. Obviously, Tano North captures Gianquanta, Brosankro area. It borders a Kukum, a Mim area. So obviously, its votes is going to
go. So MPP maintained their performance because of some of these things they did there.
Some of these things.
Okay.
And obviously, the national conversation about the free senior high school.
It also caught on there. Show me Bono. Now, just move the cursor a bit to the top 2. I want to see what Bono is doing. This is Ashanti Bono. Yeah. Great. Now, let's walk through Bono. We're going back to the beginning. So quickly, this is the original. The left part of the region.
Yes.
The part that's more western. Okay. So historically, just start from the beginning. Let's walk this quickly. Again, 96, NDC wins. 2000, Kufuor comes. 62-34. Almost 30% gap.
30% gap.
Huge gap.
Yeah.
2004, it closes a bit. 40-58, about 20%. Yeah. 2008, when NDC wins, they do very well. Now it's
just 10% margin over there.
Yes.
A little over 10%.
Yes. So then 2012, it's even closer.
It's getting close.
So what is happening here? Why is NDC doing so well? Why is MPP coming down in Bono region? Because this is the J.H. Mensah's Bono region. Yeah. This is Wenchi. This is Dankwa, Buzia's
Bafwe J West region.
What's going on
These
here?
are where the top Dankwa Buzia guys hail from. So if you look at 2012, for instance, we have huge poultry farms in these areas.
Okay.
We have some cocoa farms, but not that big when you compare to the Ahafo areas.
Yeah.
So migrants move in to settle there. Therefore, so for example, you look at places at Doma West where Ali Maiga lost. Ali Maiga has a big poultry farm there, employs a lot of settlers there. Yeah, so normally, automatically, most of the settlers would love to go with the NDC side. And then also, we talk about key prominent people in the area. Kweku Ajiman Menu, the health minister, he is one of the fathers of the MPP in the region.
He is Doma Central.
He's Doma Central.
Okay.
So the influential roles these people play there.
So it's economic issues and also personality.
Personality issue.
But even so, it affects presidential too?
It did.
It does affect presidential.
It did. So,
but why is NDC doing better in 2012? This is after the Mills era, before Mahama becomes candidate. Mahama's Mills seems to be closing the gap on the MPP.
So in 2012, what the NDC did was it presented people or candidates who were either settlers from the settlers in the area, and then DCEs. You know, DCEs, people look up to them as they are the ones driving the economic growth and all that. So if he or she is standing on the ticket of each of the parties, then we should go with them. That's one thing. And then also you look at some of the major projects there. So, for example, you go to Doma area, we talk about the Nana Ajimabadu football stadium. People made promises, all the political parties made promises to renovate them. So the parties that really sort of did something about it.
Support the football economy.
Yes.
I'm told Bono has a lot of good footballers.
Yes, good footballers. Asamoah is from there.
So in terms of the football teams, so we have the Doma, Eduana, we have Bekum Chelsea, we also have Bichim, Bichim United. There are all kinds of teams there. I knew Bofakwa Tano and BA United. I didn't know there was...
He's been merged now.
Wow. Yeah. So 2016, catastrophe for NDC, massive for MPP. Nanado goes back to the pre-2004 level, 60-30. And then 2020, which is this final election, it's like NDC inches up a little bit, MPP comes back a little bit. So it looks like the traditional state of MPP is stronger than NDC in Bono.
In Bono. It's always been the traditional seat for the NPP in the Bono region. Yeah, so you look at places like Sunyani East, Sunyani West, the NDC has never won these seats before. Even in the 2020 election when someone contested as an independent candidate, a breakaway guy from the NPP, we thought that he would...
Still couldn't affect Ignatius Bafwewa.
He gained a little over 6,000 votes. He couldn't affect Ignatius Bafwewa. So you look at the trend, it's always been NPP fought the Bono region.
Let's contrast that with Bono East and see what will happen. So Bono East, the green line is on top.
Yeah.
The blue line is at the bottom. That means Bono and Bono East are opposites.
Yes, they are opposite.
Can you explain why?
So Bono East is your typical... is the largest settler community in the Bono Ahafo community.
When you say settler, you mean they are not Bonos or Akans?
They are not Bonos or Akans.
What kind of people are we talking about?
So you mostly find the Gonjas there. You mostly find the Frafrat there. I mean, people who had settled, you know, because of the Nanumba Kukumba war, that's they settled a lot of people from the northern side. They moved to settle in the Bono East area. So you go to places like Techiman, Kentampo area, you find most of them there. And these are also powerful economic people in the area. They deal in cattle. A lot more of the farms belong to these settler communities who have come to sort of...
So they are settlers from the northern region there. But as you move to Sini and Pru as well, what kind of settlers are we talking about?
So we talk of people from the Volta region because of the fishing activities.
So they cross the Volta?
They cross the Volta and come just into the Sini and Pru area, Tebuba Mountain area.
Okay.
So that's how come we find the trend going a certain way.
So MPP has never...
It's never won that region before.
Wow.
But it performed very well in the 2020.
So let's run through this again. Yeah. So this is Kufuor.
Yes.
53-41, 15%. This is MPP's best performance.
Yes.
Then 2004, NDC actually does better. Even though Kufuor wins that election,
yes, please.
It's a bit about 15%. 2008, which is funny, when NDC actually wins the runoff, MPP still does good.
Yeah.
So it's about 10% gain.
10% gain.
2012, this is the...
John Mills.
Now this is Mahama's
John
first
Mills,
entry.
Mahama, yeah.
Almost 60-30. He's gone 60-40, 20%. So Mahama extends the lead.
Yes.
2016, Nanado says, no, I won't allow you to take it. Now 2020, what's going on? Wow.
2020, huge margin. Remember, so, Bernard, if you take a look at the 2020 and then the 2012 figures, you see that the NDC's margin was huge. Now, the factors, one, the fact that Lordina Mahama comes from that area.
Okay.
She's a royal...
Where is she from?
She's from Nkranza.
Nkranza is in Bono East.
So the Nkranza traditional area spans about 4 areas. So you go, it's extended to Kintampo, Techiman area. So obviously, they say one of their own is the First Lady. So let me go for it. And then some pertinent issues that came up between 2012 and then 2016 has shaped the voting pattern.
So that affected NDC's drop and influenced MPP's rise.
Yes. So we all know of the almighty Godislav Jastamoto's DKM issues. So, and where DKM was established is in Nkranza.
Okay.
Lordina Mahama is from this area.
Okay.
So they were thinking that, oh, you are First Lady, so you should use your influence to sort of help us get our monies in the area. But then that didn't happen. And Nana Akufo-Addo took advantage of that. In 2016, went there to announce that when he comes, though he's not from the area, he's going to make sure that they are going to pay
DKM customers.
So they trusted him.
Which is why this went up this way.
This is why it went up.
Okay.
So funds of, and then someone will say DKM and then Justamos is just minutiae of the problems. But no, it's huge. It transcends. So it just cut across people from Techiman, Kintampo, Nkranza areas. These are cashew farmers who have invested their monies.
Oh, wow. So their whole business is on the line.
The whole business is on the line. So that's how come the issue was one of the biggest issue in the region. And then in 2016 too, we remember the almighty Spiogabra announcement that government is banning the cashew, import of cashew.
Okay.
So these farmers had gone for loans. So normally what they do is that the processors will loan them with some monies and then they cultivate. After that, they give a percentage to the processors. And now you come and tell them that after they've harvested, and they are going to sell, obviously.
You are going to ban the export of cashew. So you should process all your cashew here.
Yeah.
They are looking for dollars. They want to export.
At the time, the policy was very, very good because they wanted to do everything in Ghana.
To process cashew here.
Here.
And Spio said, no, we don't want you to export your cashew. Let's process
it here.
And the guys want to export.
And some of the processors are international processors. So they have paid them that, when you are growing 5 hectares, take 4 and you take 1. So if at the end of the day, I harvest and I'm trying to do that transaction and then you come in to stop it. It means my cash is going to go waste and I'm going to lose. So some of these issues really affected the NDC
DKM
badly.
and cashew brought NDC down.
Yes, please.
2020 is gone back up. So this is the normal way they behave.
Yes.
When something happens, they come down.
Yeah, they deal with the issues at the one.
This is their normal behavior. Okay.
Yeah.
I think we should now move to the presidential and parliamentary because I want you to now explain to me some of the people who won and lost in the region, the 3 regions. So we're going to go to a presidential and parliamentary map for the 3 regions, Bono, Ahafo. And
while you do that, so
yes.
let me quickly run through some of the big losers in the region. So you go to the Bono region, 3 deputy ministers lost their seat. No, 2 deputy ministers lost their seat, German North and German South.
Okay.
German South, Ahafo, a deputy aviation minister. You go to German North, Siaka Stevens, deputy Bono regional minister, he lost. You go to the Bono East area, a deputy defense minister, Derek Odro, he prior to the 2020 election fell out with his constituents. You remember he even went to one area in his constituency and he was chased out.
Wow.
All these issues came up. Now when she surprises me a lot because this is the hometown of Buzia.
Okay.
So I wonder how the NDC was able to penetrate. But of course, if you take a trail from the end PP's primaries, you saw that they filed a lot of candidates there, over 6 of them. So the party's front was broken there. And the NDC took advantage of that and then took the Wenchi seat.
Okay, so we have the presidential map on the left
Yeah.
and the parliamentary map on the right. I just wanted you to explain the coloring. So blue is MPP, obviously, green is NDC. Let's start from Bono region.
Yeah.
So it seems to me as if places like Banda, German South, they had issues because I don't see consistency in the presidential and parliamentary voting. Because look at this, Banda for, look at Banda.
Yeah, for
presidential, Nanado wins. But if you go to parliamentary in Banda, what's happening?
Parliamentary in Banda, that's 2020, right?
Yes.
So parliamentary in Banda, the NDC
wins
50 points.
So NDC wins 50, MPP 49.
49.
Very close.
Yeah.
Presidential, MPP 51, NDC 48.
Yeah.
There has to be local issues there, right?
So local. So this is the minority chief whip, Ahmed Ibrahim.
Okay.
And then Joe Kwanzaa, who is who has been a former member of parliament for time before. At the time, the seats were not split. So when they split the seat, he contested for Banda, but he was former time member of parliament. And then he proceeds to become a DC in the area, very formidable force. So if you look at the 2016 election and then 2020, he made some inroads there. Yeah. So 40.79,
Yes.
50.79. If you look at the
very
difference,
close.
it's very close. A little over 100 votes. Yeah.
So it's been always that close.
It's always that. Banda was where the NDC alleged that there were some military men there stopping people from crossing the Volta.
I remember.
To vote. You remember that issue?
The Volta that crosses from the north separates the Savannah region into that.
That's it.
I see.
So that was where So in fact, Ibrahim Ahmed made a lot of complaints that government is trying to suppress the process, but no, that was not the case. At the end of the day, we have a lot more settler communities in this area. So if you even look at the margin, then
It's very small.
It's very small.
So even though it was skirt and blouse, the vote difference Nanado got over John Mahama wasn't that much.
It wasn't that much.
7,800 for John Mahama, 8,300 for Nanado. So it's very small.
Over 500 votes.
But it was still skirt and blouse.
It was still skirt and blouse.
One of the biggest stories was Wenchi, because I was completely surprised to find out that the NDC had won the Wenchi seat for parliamentary. Now, indeed, for presidential as well, it was very close. But what happened? Because this is Professor George Ahafo.
He was going for his fourth term.
Fourth term.
Minister for monitoring. Obviously, the people are not happy with him. I mean, he's over 60 years now. You're getting old.
I'm told the primaries, if you look at the percentage of the second and third, it was, if you put those two together, they would have done better than Ahafo. I think Kojo Frimpong and a certain gentleman.
Yes,
if you put their votes together in the MPP primaries. That's
how come earlier I said that if you look at if you trail the issue, you go back to the NPP primaries. That is where the problem comes from. You know, the NPP primaries, parliamentary primaries, had a lot of issues. Ahafo, I remember in 2016, said that he wasn't going to really contest.
Oh.
And then suddenly in 2020, you make a U-turn.
So people are preparing themselves. And then you say you come back.
You have over 5 people coming up against him. That was a close shave for him during the primaries. And he won.
So the signs were on the wall. The writings were on the wall.
That's the thing. So for me, I think that he should have, stuck to his decision.
Yeah. But could you, apart from the fact that he lost, even in presidential, now in 2016 presidential, Nanado had 54%.
Yes.
John Mahama had 43%. That's easily 11%.
Yes.
2020, John Mahama and Nanado both get 49%. In fact, the difference in votes is less than 1,000. So it's not just a Ahafo story. It looks like even on the presidential, this iconic town for MPP, the hometown of Kofi Abrefa Buzia, it's now 50-50 NDC MPP on presidential.
So I spoke to some people there. So people in the area want the house, the birthplace of Buzia, to be renovated to become a national monumental asset. That hasn't been done. The main road from the Wenchi Highway, you remember Heritage Caravan? We used that road.
Yes, it was pretty bad.
Was bad.
Pretty bad.
They want that place. But you've been an MP for 3 terms. Why can't we do some of these projects for our people at least?
So the MPP is disenchanted in the town.
They don't really. They are not really happy that this man is one of the founding fathers of our great party. Why is it that when you come to his hometown, you don't get that certain euphoria there? So that's how come they said they sort of, I mean.
So NDC made inroads. Now there's a third one. So it seems to me as if Wenchi, Tyne, and Banda are cousins. Click on Tyne for me. They are in the same area.
Yes.
This is the 2008 Tyne that led us to a lot of a third round of elections, I think.
Yeah.
Now again, you have, of course, NDC wins both presidential and parliamentary, but the devil is in the detail, in the sense that in 2016, you had MPP parliamentary candidate winning, and then in 2020, NDC takes over.
Yeah.
Again, you're seeing presidential, NPP wins 2016, NDC makes a comeback in 2020. Just what's happening in Tyne?
So Tyne, the influencers there are, the hard work of Asiedun Ketia.
Johnson Asiedun Ketia.
This is where he's
General
from.
Mosquito.
General
He's from
Mosquito.
Tyne.
Yeah, he's been an MP there before.
Oh, in the early 90s.
Yes, early 90s. So he was part of the leading campaigners in the area for the NDC. And obviously, it's been a traditional NDC seat. So they were not going to allow it to, go to the NPP. So that's how come you see that 2020 and 2016, let's look at the NDC numbers. From 14,000 to 20,000. That's a little, about 6,000 votes increase margin. You look at that of the NPP, 14 against 18,000, a little over 4,000. So Asiedun Ketia's role there is very
strong.
monumental.
Let's talk about the final place that baffles me in your area. Let's go to the Doma corner. So you have Doma West. Now, it seems to me as if Doma, and I know Doma a bit because my first roommate in Legon was from Doma, Stewart Bueno. He's from Doma. And my inner room guy went to Doma Secondary School.
Wow.
So a lot of the Doma brethren were in my room. I am surprised that Doma West seems to be pretty comfortably NDC, whereas Doma East and Doma Central are mostly doing MPP. So was it the recalibration? Explain Doma to politics to me.
So Doma West had a candidate, Vincent Opowa Samoa, former Deputy Youth and Sports Minister under the Mahama administration. He lost in 2016 to Ali Maiga. When you go to Doma, you ask for the Ali brothers. They own the biggest poultry farms.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So Ali fell out with some of the party executives.
Okay.
He fell out with some of the party executives, and then they decided to sort of teach him 1 or 2 lessons.
Okay.
That before you come to Parliament, you need our help in the area.
Okay.
So Vincent.
So this is why in 2016, MPP won the parliamentary.
They won parliamentary.
So you're saying that the steady state for Doma is Doma West is an NDC, which is why presidential 2016, Anado gets 46, John gets 52.
You see?
John increases to 53, Anado goes down to 45.
You see, even in 2016, the figures there should tell you that it
was a
voted
skirt and blouse. They voted for MPP presidential and NDC. So MDC presidential, MPP parliamentary.
Parliamentary.
Okay, but then they reverted to normal behavior in 2020.
Okay. And they voted for Ali Maiga.
Okay.
Who is the owner of one of the biggest poultry farms, employs thousands of people there. But then his problem was the fact that he fell out with the party executives, the party chairman, general secretary, constituency secretary in the area, and of course, the Doma, some of the Doma inner roads. You know, there's a popular road there called the Nkrankwanta Road there.
Okay.
It will take you to the border town, Nkrankwanta.
Okay.
It borders Ivory Coast.
Okay.
So these roads, you know, because they deal with a lot of poultry products. They need their roads to be fixed.
So they can move their goods.
They can move there.
I see.
All these roads were not fixed, and hence they said.
But Doma Central looks comfortably NPP, and that doesn't seem to have changed much. If you can, and then we call it Doma Municipal on the map. Is the blue one there? So 2016, Nana 65%, John Mahama 33%. 2020, John closes the gap, but it's still 60-40 for Doma Central. Is this the place Ajimamenu is?
Ajimamenu, very strong man.
So this is Doma Heartland.
Doma Heartland. This is where the people will say, if you even bring someone who is not formidable, but is an MPP guy would vote for him.
Okay.
During the primaries, there was a guy who sort of trying to contest him, but they didn't allow him. But I was thinking that would have been a challenge for him. But no, he sailed through and he took the seat.
Let me just end with Esunafo South, because you said that in the Ahafo region, the Esunafos and the Sutifis always go for NDC in terms of the south. And then the north, and then the Tano North and Tano South all go for NPP. Here I have a Sutifi South. Is this where Collins Dauda is from?
Collins Dauda has been in the first, second, the third parliament. He lost to the MPP's wife, Paul Jabbar died just before the elections. So his wife, Cecilia, contested. His widow contested and sort of won some sympathy votes. That's how come Collins Dauda didn't come to the third parliament. But first, second, fourth,
so he's gone throughout.
So
Sutifi South is Collins Dauda town.
Yes.
Presidential parliamentary NDC wins.
Yes.
What about Esunafo South? Because they did skirt and blouse. Esunafo South did skirt and blouse. So they did vote for an NDC parliamentarian, but they voted for an MPP president. And this is Eric Opoku. Yes. I don't know if you can just explain that for me quickly.
So, Bernard, remember we established the fact that if you don't really deal well with their cocoa issues, they are not going to vote for you. But Eric Opoku, because he's been a former cocoa clerk before.
Cocoa clerk?
Yeah, he understands the issues with cocoa. So he's been one of the backbone of most or majority of the cocoa farmers in this area.
Okay.
That's how come they always give him the nod. And he's someone who is very formidable in the area. The NPP candidate they presented is a chartered accountant who just moved to the area in 2016 because of the elections.
He actually closed the gap, though.
Yeah,
this is Kwabna Mohamed.
So
he's an engineer as well. He's actually a transport guy. So he
22.
Did, yes.
20. That's for the presidential.
Yeah, this is presidential. So your parliamentary MPP had 18,000, went up to 20,000. So 46%, 48%. He closed the gap a bit. So 52 comes to 51, but it's still not enough to beat Eric Opoku. Presidential, though, Nanado wins, which is interesting because even though Eric Opoku is winning parliamentary, presidential, Nanado is winning. So it's a skirt and blouse constituency as well, but strongly NDC. Same for Sufisa. We'll thank you for this break. We'll take a short break. When we come back, we'll look at the Bono East and some of the interesting races, particularly the Sydney West, where they are still waiting to declare, and of course the Techiman South, where there's a lot of controversy. This is your Election Bureau. Stay with us.
We delivered 2 healthy kids last night.
Huh? Congrats. Have you heard?
2 kids.
You get free calls from 5 a.m. to 10 a.m. for 6 months when you make an Airtel Tigo Money transaction on new Airtel Tigo Sims.
My son has 2 kids. Agwazi. No.
For all your lengthy conversations, get a SIM today.
Yeah, so I'm still talking.
It's a good day to meet every challenge. It's a good day to want more out of life. It's a good day to wish for it, work for it, go get it. Familiar taste, a delicious indulgent with a flavor you just can't hide. Refreshing energy gives so much for so little. For a strong performance, you've come to the right place. Good Day Energy Drink. Why wait a minute to enjoy a good day when every second counts? Good Day Energy Drink keeps you going.
Excessive drinking can be detrimental to your health. Not recommended for persons under 18 years, lactating mothers, pregnant women, and people sensitive to caffeine. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
By law, in Ghana, classes of vehicles have maximum speed limits which drivers should observe. The maximum speed loaded heavy goods vehicles should travel is 75 km per hour. In the case of buses, passenger carrying vehicles, or unloaded heavy goods vehicles, the maximum speed should be 80 km per hour. Saloon cars and light vehicles are not supposed to travel more than 100 km per hour. Agricultural vehicles should not travel more than 30 kilometers per hour. In all cases, drivers should drive at a lower speed if the environmental conditions require the vehicle to be driven at a lower speed. Stop road crashes now. Stay alive.
This road safety education is brought to you by the National Road Safety Authority.
Because you pay attention. Because you know more than one angle. And see more than one opportunity. We bring you Build a Bet. Multiple legs as a single bet on one game. Raising the odds and elevating your experience.
This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Bet responsibly, not for persons below 18 years.
Responsibly, not for sale to persons under 18, not recommended for pregnant women. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
Welcome back. This is still your election bureau, and of course, we're bringing you what happened in the election and what it means. So, the event and the context. My name is Bernard Avle. I'm here with Kojo Ajama. Kojo, it's good to have you again.
Thank you for having me.
So far, you've spoken to us about the Bono region. On the
Ahafo.
Parliamentary side, we have 12 seats.
12 seats.
What was the split like?
So 6-6.
6-6.
For both parties. So you look at the NDC, it took the Wenchi seat for the first time.
For the first time, Wenchi.
Banda, Tyne, Doma West, and then German North, and then German South.
Fantastic.
For the first time. But Doma East, the Doma West, it's been alternating. So for the first time, they've been able to make inroads in the central part of the Bono, that's the Bono region.
And then for the MPP, they maintain the two Brekums,
the two Sunyanis, and then the two Domas.
Central and East. So
yes.
Doma Central is Ajamamenu, and then there's Doma East.
Doma East as
Brekum
well.
always MPP.
Always, they go with the blue.
And then Sunyani East. Sunyani West surprised me because in the build-up, there was a young man called Bernard something who was really giving Ignatius a run for his money. I think he lost the MPP primary.
He lost, and then he decided to contest as an independent candidate.
How many votes did he get?
He got a little over 6,000, but that didn't really make any impact.
It couldn't shift it to NDC.
It couldn't shift, because the NDC vote was also a little over 20,000. So if you even add that of this Bernard and then Millicent, the lady who contested on the ticket of the NDC, it wouldn't have even crossed for them to win
so
that
MPP
seat.
still took it?
They still took it. But it was a tough one for Ignatius. Looking at the margins. Yeah.
And we've also pointed out some of the skirts and blasts. For example, we said Banda, even though NDC won the parliamentary, Nana still won the presidential.
Yes.
And then I think for Doma West as well. No, Doma West actually goes for NDC vote presidential and parliamentary. So that was okay. It was Wenchi that did a skirt and blouse, where they did presidential for MPP, but parliamentary for NDC.
Yes.
And you explained Jamba for...
Jambafo's factor.
But it's very close, actually, because Nana and Mahama both got 49%. It's very close. 25,000 for Nana, 24,000 for Mahama. So Winchi also did skirt and blouse for Nana, but very slight. Okay, then you come to Ahafo. And you explain that Ahafo 4-2.
4-2.
MPP took 4, NDC took 2.
Yes.
And the way to remember this is that it's Sunafo and Citi South. Two of the NDC's big wigs.
Collins and then Eric Opoku.
So Collins is Isutifi, Eric is Sunafo.
Yes.
And they are both South.
They are both South.
The rest is MPP.
MPP. So Tano South, Tano North, Sunafo North, Isutifi North, all for the NPP.
Good. And it's what do you call it? Ahafo is closer to Ashanti.
Closer to Ashanti region. And in fact, let me take you way back to history. When they were doing the Bono Champion, they were the group of people from the Bono region saying that they need a region of their own, because they feel that the allegiance was to the Otumfuo, to the Ashanti Kingdom. So they wanted to be part of the Ashanti Kingdom.
To move away from Bono.
Move away.
So Ahafos are closer to Ashanti than to Bono.
Yes.
So Bono region is Bono.
Bono proper. They speak the Bono language.
I see.
Yeah.
Benkoba, Benkofi, those things. Benko to Ben, sorry. Beautiful. Yeah. So what about Bono East then? How different is Bono East from Bono?
So Bono East has majority of the settler communities in the area. So if you go into the history, the Kokoma Nanumba world displays a lot of northerners. So they decided to settle in the Kintampo area, the Gonja land area, and in fact, it's a big area. And then when you go to the eastern part of that region as well, because of the Volta Lake and the fishing activities there, you have a lot of people from the Volta region. I mean, so you just cross the Volta Lake, you're in the Volta region, they cross and then they do business all along in the villages along the Volta Lake. So you find more Northerners and then more Voltarians in these areas.
Okay.
And that's become an issue for indigents. In fact, when you look at the history, when you follow the trend, you see that the settler communities sort of have the MP position goes to the settler communities, and then the DCE goes to the indigents. And there's always created a few...
Because in population-wise, voting, settler... So I just want to show a couple of things, as you said. So this is Sine East.
Yes, sir.
This is Sine East, and then this is Krachi Nchumuru. Krachi Nchumuru is in the Oti region.
Yeah.
And then Sine East is next, which means the Volta Lake is there.
Yes, please.
Right? And then you have, of course, Sine West.
Sine West.
Then if you go up above Sine West, you have Pandai.
Pandai,
which is also
Oti region area.
This is northern region, but
it's into parts of Oti. So you see that because of the fishing activities there, they I mean, of course, they trade there. They have their livelihoods around the same area. So you really can't fault them for towing a certain
And then you
line.
mentioned Gonja. So Salaga South is also a border to Pru East and West.
Yes.
And Sene West. So you look at Salaga South. This is Gonja land. Yeah. And then next to it, you have Sene West. So it tells you that there's that admixture of people as well. So there's the Volta influence, there's the Gonja influence, and the Kokomba and Anumba influence.
And then about 80% of the yam that we buy in Accra come from these areas.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Sene East, Sene West, Pru East, Pru West.
It comes from these areas, all the way to Kentampo and Techima North area. Yes, so I mean, and also when you take part of the Kentampo and Kranza area, we have large portions of cashew farms, and the laborers, the people who tilt these farms, are mostly settlers. So I mean, you find a lot more every year. They come in their numbers. So the moment the cashew season comes, they have to be there, and the registration period is just within that period.
Okay.
So they will register there, and they'll always vote for a certain party.
So Bono typically vote for MPP. So for NDC to get half of the seats is even an achievement.
It's an achievement.
Ahafo is split down the middle.
Yeah.
Typically, Bono East would vote for NDC.
NDC.
Now you have 10 seats declared, 7 NDC, 3 MPP.
Yeah, one
outstanding. Of course, Techima South is also contentious.
It's contentious, yeah.
So let's look at the summary. So here you have it. Walk me through what's on the screen.
So you have, out of the 10 seats, Atebubu Amantin, the NDC staged a comeback and took the seat from Kofi Amoakohene, who is the Bono East Regional Minister.
Okay.
Yes. So in Kintampo North, the NDC takes the seats again. Kransa North.
So Kintampo North used to be, is NDC throughout?
NDC
Since
throughout.
2012, 2016,
NDC
2020,
throughout. NDC throughout.
Good.
In Kransa North used to be NPP.
Yes.
That's Derrick Odro's constituency.
2 consecutive MPP, now NDC.
Now NDC.
So this is Derrick Odro.
Derrick Odro.
Is it Deputy Minister of Defense?
Deputy Minister of Defense.
Wow.
Yeah.
So he lost to an NDC person.
Yes, he a lot of issues went against Derrick Odro. We went there, we spoke to constituents. They were of the view that, Derrick, you are one of our own. You've been a Deputy Interior Minister, so you, Defense Minister. You should help most of our people get jobs in the military, in the prison service and all that, but they are not getting.
So they were disappointed?
They were very disappointed.
So they punished him for that?
And also, there were some roles that he was supposed to finish, he didn't finish.
Which is interesting, because if you come to the map, in Kranza North voted for the president, but in Kranza North in Parliament voted for the NDC.
Yes.
So you're talking some level of
skirt and blouse there.
Yes.
I mean, that is the trend over there when you look at the voting pattern.
So in Kranza North, went skirt and blouse.
Went skirt and blouse.
So they voted for Nanado.
Nanado for presidential.
But they voted out Derrick Odro.
Out Derrick Odro.
Wow.
For the parliamentary one.
What about in Kranza South? What is in Kranza South doing?
In Kranza South is NDC.
Okay.
And it's always been NDC. Pru East, NDC, always been NDC. Sine East, Pru East, we talk of Kabna Donko. Sine East, that's former Chumesi Appiah's constituency. It went for the NDC. Techima North went for the NDC. Techiman South, NPP, that's...
this is where the other controversies.
Where two people allegedly killed.
Has not even been added to the presidential tally.
Yes, please.
So if you come to my presidential map, Techiman South is empty.
Yes.
Because of the controversy there. So we haven't put the color there. In fact, when they did the announcement, Techiman South was not included. So you're saying that typically the two Pru constituencies and the two Senate constituencies would have voted for NDC parliamentarian. But you're just showing me that Pru East, for the first time, went to NPP. Can you explain what's going on?
So Pru East, the NPP decided to press an indigent, a settler, who in 2016 they made a DC for the area.
What's his name?
He's lawyer. He's a lawyer by profession. So Stephen Jalula.
Stephen Jalula.
Jalula,
who is one of the settlers, you call them.
Yes.
And he's MPP.
His progression is also, he's also the DC for the area.
So he has two advantages.
Two advantages.
Settler and DCE.
DCE. Obviously, we went there, the people said he's championed a lot of the developmental projects there. So they decided to stick with him.
This is Jalula.
Jalula. Masawudu is also a settler. But then they prefer to go with someone who is a DCE who is championing their developmental cause than someone who is in opposition. So you get the point. So that's how come Jalula was able to sail through this time for the NPP.
But the other Pru went to Kwabena Donko.
Yes.
How long has he been in Parliament?
Kwabena Donko has been in Parliament. He will be seeking his 5th term.
Why is he so popular? He seems to be, he's always a minister. I think from Mills's time, he was spokesperson for energy. He's become energy minister. What is it about Kwabena Donko? Why does he keep winning?
Kwabena Donko is someone who is always in his constituency.
Okay.
And also, a lot of the energy projects that you talk about, the solar panel, he made the people benefit from his role as a
bit like Peter Amewu.
Peter Amewu syndrome. So he made the people benefit from what his position as former power minister. Yeah, and a lot of boreholes in the constituency there, and irrigation farming system there. He's done so well in the area. So in fact, when you go to almost all the farms, the tomato farms and the vegetable farms there, you find irrigation systems there.
So what's the economic activity of polling Pru constituency?
It's fishing and then farming.
Fishing and farming?
Yes.
I see.
So you talk of yam, you talk of vegetables and fish. So when you go to Adabraka markets, all the dry tilapia and then the eel fish they bring,
so
all of them are from...
enclave, very agricultural, because I know that in Kranza, they do a lot of cashew.
Cashew. In Kranza, Kintampo area, cashew.
Because I know that the national best farmer for 2018, James Boateng's farm is in Kranza.
Yes.
And I'm told you have to travel for days before you can go around the farm.
You go around the farm.
So this is farming.
Farming.
Pru is also farming and fishing?
Fishing, yeah, because of the Volta Lake there.
What about Atebubu?
Atebubu is also a fishing community. Fishing, so a lot of fish. You find a lot of fisher folk there. A lot of premise fuel issues popping up there.
Okay.
So what happened down south, the coastal line,
also tends to
happen there.
So these are river fishing.
Yes.
Or Lake Volta.
Yes.
The Lake Volta people.
Of course, it's a big lake there, so they need their canoes and outboard motors, therefore using premix fuel.
So you have 11 constituencies. One is outstanding.
Yes.
MPP has won three although one is controversial.
So
even let's say 2, okay, they've won Kintampo South, and then they've won the, this is the Kintampo South with the controversy.
South, yeah.
And then they've won...
That's the Techiman South with the controversy.
Yes.
Yes.
So would they be happy with their performance in Bono East, MPP?
Well, when you compare the 2016 figures to now, I'm sure we should give them a pat on their backs because they've been able to snatch one seat from the NDC.
So this is better than they would have expected?
They would have expected.
Now, what do you know about Sine West, where the controversy is? Apart from what's happened, we are told a ballot box was snatched. Now, if you go to Sine West presidential, it looks like the NDC won it pretty comfortably. Nanado got 9,218 presidential. Jomama got 16,096. In fact, in 2016 as well, Jomama won it 60-36. So it looks comfortably NDC on the presidential.
Yeah.
Why is this such a big controversy in the parliamentary? Is it because of the candidates? What's going on?
But the map should even tell us that the numbers are coming from Sine West. And the numbers mean that more settlers there. It means that most of the votes are going to go. And in fact, if you look at the trend from 96 to date, 2004 to date, it should tell you that they've been voting a certain party all these years. So, if you even look at the same trend for Pro East, Atebuwa Mountain, Sine East, is the same trend going on in the Sine West. Same people scattered or dotted across the constituency, same issues, premix issues, same fishing issues, and same farming issues there.
But definitely the candidate's identity also determines...
Yeah, so the NDC has always gone with a settler because of the numbers. And any party that goes with a settler is highly possible to win the election.
Really?
The same case for Sine Pro West. That's it.
So where the candidate is coming from
is where the candidate is coming
before other issues.
Before other issues.
So when MPP chooses a settler and then the person is a DC, then they will get.
And anytime when you look at the previous elections, they've gone for indigents and they've been losing.
MPP. So this is the first time
this is the first time they changed and went for a settler who is a DC and they've won.
So overall, what do NDC feel about the Bono East region? Because they say they won Kintampo South. Of course, they say they won Techiman South. They say they believe they won Sine West, but they've lost 3 of the seats to MPP. What would their emotion be compared to 2016?
Well, I would say they've underperformed in that region.
Bono
East. But when you look at the numbers and the margin, though they won presidential and parliamentary there, I would say looking at their previous margins, they have underperformed.
So for those who are looking for a new region effect, you can say that MPP gains slightly in Bono East.
Bono East with the Pro West seat, taking the Pro West seat from the NDC.
What about Ahafo? If you look at, because I remember discussing Northeast, and it's very clear that Northeast MPP has made gains. Now they have the majority of the vote, 10,000 plus. OT not so much, because OT, NDC still took all the seats.
Yes.
The gap didn't really change. Then you have Western North, NDC still won it, even though the margin was closer. So if I asked you whether there was a new region effect in favor of MPP for Bono East and Ahafo, what would you say?
Well, for Ahafo, I wouldn't say that there was a much of an influence from that, because they still maintain their 4-2 play. So NDC taking 4 seats and then MPP. The only influence will be the fact that some of the seats decided to go for Skirtenblau. For example, Eriko Poku's constituency. That's the only seat that went. It's Nafo South. That's the only seat that voted for the president and voted parliamentary for the NDC.
So if you put that together, it means that for Ahafo, 5 of the seats went for MPP presidential.
Yes.
Because you're adding Isunafo South.
Isunafo South to it.
So only Isutifi South had an NDC victory for even the presidential.
And then Isutifi South going presidential and parliamentary for both for the NDC. Yes. So it wouldn't make any. The impact was not really felt on that region. But for what happened at Isunafo South, I would have said that the new region thing didn't really play out.
So but Bono East more.
Bono East. That's where that's where there was an effect. That's how come the MPP was able to snatch one of the
When I look at the 3 regions, it seems to me as if strong known personalities have an impact.
Yes, of course.
Eriko Poku for NDC, NDC. Collins Dada for NDC. You've mentioned the Minister for Health.
Kwekwaji Mamenu, Doma Central.
And then now even Ignatius
Bafwe
for Sunyani.
And then the majority chief whip for Sunyani is, that's Chairman. He's also from Sunyani area.
So you mean there has to be a recognized figure who's known?
Yes. So if you look at the trends, anytime these influential figures go down to the people and campaign, their parties, gain a lot.
So what happened to Jambafo? You explained before.
Jambafo had more than 4 people contesting him
in the primaries,
and he made promises that he's getting old, he's not coming back again, and all that, to make a U-turn and then come back again. That really didn't go down well with the people, and they said, "Oh, well, it's time for you to exit."
Okay. So in a nutshell, the 3 Bono regions have not really changed in terms of their behavior over the past electoral cycles. But there are some nuances in the Bono East and a few areas in Bono. So NDC will be happy in Bono, NPP will be happy in Bono East.
Yes, they'll be very happy in Bono because for the first time in 4 years, in over 8 years, they've been able to take German North and then German South.
Wow.
Yes.
So they've split the Bono region.
6-6.
And this is as if in Ketia country. Tain, Wenchi, Banda.
Yes.
This is his area. Did he campaign there though?
Oh, yes, he's one of the influencers there that went down to the people to campaign massively. Yes. So you remember, this is a border town. So people here, you have a lot more settlers here as well.
Okay.
The German North, German South Tyne area.
Banda is border. German North is border. German South is border.
Bekum West is border town.
Which of the Domas is border?
Doma West is border. Doma East is also border town.
Very interesting. Yes. And you keep coming down.
You keep coming down.
Where is the Bui Dam though?
The Bui Dam is around the Banda area.
Okay, so
Bole Bamboy Banda area.
Interesting. Yeah. I see. All right, Coach, I think this has been great. So you've given us an insight into the Bono three Bono regions. So we have Bono East, Bono itself, and then of course Ahafo. This has been our continued coverage of the election. This is the post-result declaration phase, and we've been looking at the 3 regions in the Bono area. We have more coming up for you in other regions as well. But suffice it to say, the parliamentary tie is very close, 137, 136, waiting for Senate West to be declared. Hopefully, we'll know who wins before close of the week. My name is Bernard. I've been here with Kojo Ajiman. Thank you for watching. We'll be with you next time. Bye-bye.